Hello everybody, Mannix here. Got another gun review for you right here, right now. Feel free to subscribe, hit that little bell notification if you do not want to miss weekly gun and knife videos of all sorts, and feel free to support me on Patreon, link in the description. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let's get started. This is going to be on the Taurus 66 revolver. Happens to be in the 6-inch barrel. They also offer these in the 4-inch barrels, as well as in a matte black finish, as opposed to the finish you're seeing right here. Not loaded. 7 rounds in the cylinder right there. Red plastic insert front sight, adjustable rear sight, single and double action, rubberized grip. As of late 2023, retails at $569.99 MSRP. 38 special plus P and or 357 magnums is what this chambers. 6-inch barrel length. Overall length is 12.25 inches. The overall height is 5.7 inches, and its overall width is 1.5 inches. Weighs 40 ounces unloaded. It's all made of stainless steel with matte stainless finishing. You can get these for just about under $500 at most stores that sell these things. Right off the bat, excellent deal. I've been very impressed with Taurus. I've had a lot of their guns, tried a lot of their guns, mainly revolvers, but as far as all of them go, I'm very impressed. They're very good, reliable handguns for the money. I have not yet had any major issues with any of them. They work very well. They're very accurate. They're very reliable. The reason I went with the 6-inch instead of the 4-inch, honestly, and this is going to sound really stupid, and it kind of is, but it was the same price. Oftentimes, you'll find these 6-inch barrel variants on the Taurus 66 cost the exact same thing as the 4-inch variant. You're literally just getting more material. And honestly, I already have revolvers, shorter, smaller, stubbier, I carry anyway. So I thought, hell, let's just get the extra velocity, the extra power. Why not? If it's the same price, I always kind of wanted a really long revolver like this, and there you go. Now, practically speaking, would I choose this over a 4-inch or even a 3-inch barrel for carry? Generally no. For everyday carry, just keeping this on your holster, going out into town, no, this is kind of overkill. Objectively, it's a lot more powerful, and you will get more velocity in comparison to anything underneath its length, obviously. But for self-defense, we're just talking a few yards away. Generally speaking, 6 inches, again, that's kind of overkill. You don't need that much extra velocity. This is going to add some weight, so you're going to be carrying something even heavier than compared to a 4-inch or 3-inch, something more standard. Obviously, a lot more than a snubby. Extracting this out of your holster or whatever means you have to carry this thing is going to be a lot more difficult compared to something shorter. You got to make sure there's a lot of clearance there to pull this out all the way and then point it forward. This can be something someone can grab onto a lot more easily in comparison to a shorter barrel, especially a snub nose. An attacker is going to be a lot more hesitant on grabbing something like that because the muzzle is probably going to blow the palm of their hand right off. But with something like this, a lot easier to grab onto. That's another disadvantage. So heavier, harder to extract, slower on the draw, and that barrel can be a liability to you if your attacker decided to be so bold as to try and grab it, or at least knock it out of your hand and knock it away from them. That's the problem with these longer barrels as well. But aside from that, objectively, they're basically just better than the shorter barrels if we're talking velocity, power, stopping power, etc. So for sniping, let's say in a practical situation, if you were in a parking lot, you're getting in a shootout with someone, I would definitely take this over a shorter barrel. Not just getting the extra power there, but we're also getting more accuracy. That's just naturally how that works, obviously. It's hard to miss with this thing. The sheer length of the barrel just makes it so damn accurate. Once it's in your hand and once you're pointing at the target you are attempting to shoot, I argue 6-inch is a lot better than 4-inch. So that being said, I do not recommend not just this gun in particular, but any handgun with a 6-inch barrel for all-around jack-of-all-trades self-defense. They're just kind of slow on the draw. Yeah, you can practice with these things. You can get very good. You can certainly use this for defense. Is better than having no gun at all. Absolutely. I'm not going to judge you there. But there's better options. That's the point I'm trying to make. Would I still carry this? Do I still carry this? Hell yes. It's still a fantastic gun. If we're talking animal defense, let's say bears, smaller bears, 357 Magnum out of a 6-inch barrel will take down pretty much any human attacker. Would be really surprised if I saw that fail. It's a very tried and true round as it is for self-defense. It's arguably the best self-defense round against human attackers, the 357 Magnum. Now we're throwing it out of a 6-inch barrel. So we're just pushing that velocity even more. The main problem snub noses with 357 Magnums have, some people debate on what's better, 38 Special plus P or 357 Magnum. Coming out of a shorter barrel, particularly a snub nose revolver with maybe a 2 or 2.5 inch barrel. The 357 Magnums expand really, really well if we're talking hollow points, but they sometimes tend to under-penetrate if we're talking about the whole 12-inch FBI ballistic rule. They pancake out really nicely, but they don't always go in that far out of those shorter barrels, and then that's when the 38 Special Plus P argument comes into play for the shorter barrel revolvers. Some people may actually prefer that over a 357 Magnum. But with this, it's no question. Obviously, I'm just going to take the 357 Magnum if I don't mind that extra recoil. Now, here's my next point. Another advantage to having this longer barrel here. 38 Special Plus Ps perform beautifully out of a really, really long barrel. They're kind of iffy on a lot of revolvers out there that are shorter. Out of a snub nose 38 Special Plus P, sometimes they do pretty good, but certain rounds you may get, they might penetrate well, but the hollow point doesn't expand. Maybe they just don't penetrate enough. I've seen that happen. It really depends on the round in particular of 38 Special Plus P that you get. Some perform very well, some just don't out of snub noses. Out of 4 inches, they tend to generally perform okay. More or less 38 Special Plus Ps perform pretty similarly to most 9mm, but out of a 6-inch, now we're really, really pushing those 38 Special Plus Ps, and we're really probably more times than not going to compensate for the fact that they don't always behave so effectively out of shorter barrels. So yet another thing I like about the 6-inch, whether you go with the 357 Magnum or the 38 Special Plus P, you're all set. For self-defense, that's going to work. Obviously, make sure you get a good round. Don't get some piece of crap. You don't know how they're going to perform. But hey, any bullet is better than no bullet, I suppose, too. So I'm not going to argue against that either. Very good for sniping, good hunting handgun. Home defense handgun? Yeah, sure, why not? I really like this grip they have right here. It's very, very comfortable. It's on the slimmer side. It's actually just ergonomic enough. It's rubberized, not usually my favorite material, but because it's so dense, it doesn't feel cheap or anything. I actually really, really like this style grip that Taurus has. No problems with reliability. It is a revolver. Even cheap revolvers tend to behave very, very well. It's a very simple, old, tried and true design that still works to this day. It is double action, very nice, positive clicks on here with the hammer pulling back. I love the red plastic insert up here. It's kind of like a fiber optic. It's not. It's just translucent red piece of plastic, but it kind of acts like a fiber optic. It's like a poor man's fiber optic. Glows ever so slightly in medium ambient light conditions. Just a little bit. Just lets you see it. And even if it's not that light out, it doesn't really matter. You still have something you can see in there in between the adjustable rear sight. No problems with that. I don't mind the sights at all. I like it. We got 7, not 6, but 7 rounds we can put in here. Very, very cool. I like the way it looks. I like the matte silver. I like the way Taurus guns look. Honestly, they're very standard looking revolvers. They don't do anything weird or goofy. It's just very simple, very standard. Let's load this sucker up with some snap caps. In case you were wondering how it works, here's my original snap caps I got. They're pretty much the exact same weight and look as a real bullet, but it's not a real bullet. It's a snap cap, and you can see how well used those things are right now. Let's get in these guys. I only have 6, unfortunately, so we won't be able to load up the entire cylinder, and it seems this one's getting stuck. Cool. So it looks like we're only going to be able to load this up with 5 snap caps. How sad. Fire this double action, no problems with the trigger pull on there. I really like that a lot. You can fire this just a single action if you want that nice, clean, crisp trigger pull on there. You can do both. Especially with a 6-inch, I would want to be able to fire single action for sure. When we increase that barrel length, it's going to get harder and harder to fire double action ever so slightly each time you increase that. So get that nice, clean, crisp, take more advantage of that extra long barrel we have. Absolutely very good sniping, far range handgun. And one more advantage that I forgot to mention, longer barrel, more weight means less recoil. So you can get some really, really hot loaded, just powerful 357 Magnums, just throw them out of this sucker. Very affordable, very practical, very powerful handgun. But for most purposes, honestly, I would just step down to the 4-inch barrel if we're just talking everyday self-defense. I would not go with the 6-inch unless you particularly are looking for a 6-inch barrel revolver, and in which case, case, this is a choice one to have. Get that extra velocity, get that extra range, that extra accuracy, that extra power as far as practical use is concerned against other human attackers. If you're like in a parking lot or far range, maybe there's an active shooter situation, someone's far away inside of a large store, this would be handy for something like that. If you actually have time to get it out, if you are not the one being attacked directly yet, that's not a disadvantage, I don't think, in that case. There's a lot of great reasons to have a 6-inch revolver. Really, really impressed with this guy right here. I pretty much have no obvious complaints with this thing at all. I can't think of anything I dislike about it. Like the way it looks, like the way it feels, the ergos, really nice capacity on there. That's it. That's our Taurus 66 38 Special Plus P and 357 Magnum revolver. Let me know what you think, not just of this gun in particular, but also 6-inch or maybe, hell, even 8-inch barrel revolvers. Any advantages or disadvantages I missed in comparison to the shorter barrel revolvers? Are there reasons you prefer a snub nose or 4-inch over a 6-inch? Please let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. Mannix out.